Live from the broadcast center in Los Angeles, this is KCAL 9 News at 8.
A manhunt is underway for the suspect who shot and killed an off-duty LAPD officer. I'm Candace Crone in Lincoln Heights. I'll have the latest on the investigation next.
And here's a live look at a vigil happening right now at LAPD headquarters for the fallen off-duty officer. A live report just minutes away.
And another story we are watching right now, remembering the victims of a Southland killing spree. A report from that vigil still ahead.
And another hot and dry day across Southern California. I'll tell you when we're actually going to start to cool down.
Thank you, Amber. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Donchi.
And I'm Chris Holmstrom. Now to a developing story we're on top of tonight. The search for whoever gunned down a young LAPD officer while he was off duty, just grabbing a bite to eat with his girlfriend.
We have team coverage for you tonight. We'll get to KCAL 9's Jeff Nguyen at a vigil for the officer in just a moment. But we do start with KCAL 9's Candace Crone with the latest on the search for the shooter.
Officer Juan Diaz was a member of the Professional Standards Bureau, and he loved serving his community. The shooting happened just beyond this intersection, about a block from where we are. People in this area are heartbroken.
It's a very tragic situation.
Community members in Lincoln Heights are in shock after learning an off-duty LAPD officer, 24-year-old Juan Jose Diaz, was shot and killed overnight. Someone flagged down an LAPD motorcycle officer around 1 a.m. to report a shooting near a taco stand at Avenue 26 and Artesian Street. When officers arrived, they discovered two shooting victims inside a black pickup truck a block away. Officer Diaz was pronounced dead on the scene. The second man was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay.
That's a very popular taco spot. A lot of people go there, and it's unfortunate that a police officer had to die there.
There is a potential that these were gang members. Confirming that, though, will be the responsibility of the detectives.
Investigators would not release many details surrounding the shooting, but according to the LA Times, Diaz was with his girlfriend and her two brothers eating at the taco stand when a group of young men approached them and began making threats prior to the shooting. Assistant Police Chief Beatrice Gramala spoke on behalf of Chief Michael Moore, who's out of the country, but nonetheless heartbroken by the loss of one of the department's own.
We ask the public to keep the officer and his family and the additional victim who is undergoing treatment right now in their thoughts and prayers.
Mayor Eric Garcetti issued a statement which reads in part, "Our hearts are with Officer Diaz's family and friends. They are experiencing a loss that no one should have to suffer under circumstances that outrage us all. My promise is that we will hold them close, stand with them every step of the way, and never tire until we find and prosecute the vicious criminals responsible for this horrific tragedy." If you witnessed this shooting or have any information on this crime, call the LAPD. In Lincoln Heights, Candace Crone, KCAL 9 News.
Also, a vigil is happening right now at LAPD headquarters for Officer Juan Jose Diaz. KCAL 9's Jeff Nguyen continues our team coverage from there. Jeff?
Sarah and Chris, just moments ago, in fact, you might be able to hear it right now, but an LAPD airship, a helicopter, is flying above us. They were observing a moment of silence right now. And if you want to get an idea of how one life can impact so many, let me ask you to look behind, because look at all of the people here who love this young man. You can see his co-workers are here, his classmates from the academy are here, as well as his family. And what you will notice is that there are a lot of Dodger jerseys and ball caps here, because this young man loved this city, and that is why he chose to serve for this city. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and roll some video right now and give you a look at 24-year-old Juan Diaz. His friends and family are honoring him right now during an impromptu vigil. And behind the badge is a young man who is a son, a brother, and a friend who's clearly loved by many. Earlier, his co-workers and other first responders paid their respects during a procession from the scene of the shooting to the coroner's office. Plenty gathered to salute this young man who gave his life to the city. And we had a chance to speak to Officer Diaz's sergeant from his days at the police academy. And this is what he told us about Juan Diaz.
This was actually put together by his classmates from the police academy. They were hired in April of 2017, so they just had 2 years on the job. And when everyone started getting news of who passed away last night, the text messages started going out, and all his classmates reached out and put this vigil together on short notice. Just a young man, Juan, always asking a lot of questions. Just happy, fun going. grew up in a gang-infested neighborhood and still never joined a gang, always did the right thing. And unfortunately, we're in this situation right now.
I know this is difficult, and right now you're looking live as Sergeant Diaz basically is leading this vigil out here. It's a very heavy night. You know, Sergeant Diaz told us that he spent a lot of time talking to Officer Diaz about what he wanted to do and why he wanted to join the force, and the answer for young Officer Diaz was to serve his hometown. We also touched on the gang influence in Lincoln Heights, where Officer Diaz grew up, and he never joined the gangs or followed the crowd. And the sergeant said the reason for that is because of the upbringing that he had from his parents. And so he credited the Diaz family for keeping that young man on the straight and narrow to eventually join the department to serve his city. We're going to keep an eye on this, and of course we will update you throughout the night, and we'll check in with you on KCAL 9 News at 10. But for now, reporting live from downtown Los Angeles, Jeff Nguyen, KCAL 9 News.
Jeff, so heartbreaking for so many people. Thank you. Well, also happening now, a vigil for one of the 4 victims of the deadly shooting spree in the San Fernando Valley. Suspect Jerry Zaragoza fatally shot DeTwan Harris while he was aboard an Orange Line bus in Van Nuys. Zaragoza is also accused of killing his father, brother, and his ex-girlfriend. KCAL 9's Greg Mills is live in Van Nuys, where friends and family are now gathering. Good evening, Greg.
Good evening, Chris. About 40 people were here for a really touching memorial here in honor of DeTwan Harris. He joined a bus right here. He was heading to Tarzana to meet a friend and never arrived there. But here at 7:30 tonight, they had a vigil here, lots of candles, lots of pictures, lots of heartfelt memories from folks who knew him well, and also some songs, some prayers too, and a few people that did know him quite well. This is Jeannie, Brianne, and Christine. Your memories of your friend?
I was in treatment with him 5 years ago. And
in Tarzana?
In Tarzana, because I have 5 years clean.
Mm-hmm.
And
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And he would always smile with his gold tooth.
People mentioned that gold tooth, Brianne. Well, it was special, wasn't it?
Yes, he definitely was a classy guy.
And I'm hearing tonight that he had really turned his life around, and he has a young child, and he was doing it for himself and for his little boy.
Yes, and that's another thing I wanted to say to DeTwan's family. We're all family connected through him. So if there's anything that you need, we threw this together last minute, but we all want to pull together to remember him and to help his son and his whole family. So please, any way you have, reach out to us. We love you.
And Christine, I couldn't get over how many people, this was organized kind of last minute, so many people paying tribute to him, and everybody talked about his smile.
He had the most amazing smile. It was always big. It was always there. I've never seen him really down. Even when he was going through a lot of stuff, he just would smile through it, you know. And I was in treatment with him as well, and at Tarzana, and I am just so happy that I'm trying to look at it as I'm happy that he died clean and that he was doing life the way he wanted to do it, and to me that brings me joy that he finally found some peace in himself. And that's the bottom line, is that I know that he's
know exactly what you mean. Yeah, he had turned it around himself and then went. And you mentioned you guys haven't cried yet.
No, I was crying right now.
It's going to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is.
Is it because of the bizarre nature of
how it happened?
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't expect it to happen to someone that we knew, you know? And when we found out it was him, we were all in shock. And yeah, it's just all of a sudden,
yeah, it was crazy.
What would he have thought of this outpouring of love?
He would be crying.
He'd be crying.
He would.
So
He'd be smiling too.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you'd be surprised.
With his
that gold tooth, right?
Exactly.
What a tribute tonight. And ladies, thank you so much.
Thank
Your
you.
friend, DeJuan Harris, who was killed right here picking up a bus, going to see his friend Christopher in Tarzana. And the friends got together tonight, and what a heartfelt tribute to their friend. Reporting live, Greg Mills, KCAL 9 News.
Well,
Sarah,
Greg, I really feel like we got to know him through his friends and loved ones. Thank you. We turn now to some breaking news coming out of Westchester, where there has been a bad pileup involving at least 5 cars. Sky 9 was just over the scene on La Tijera Boulevard. You could see a car on its side, a really bad crash, a lot of wreckage there. We're told that 9 people, including children, were hurt. We will follow this story and have new updates as we get more information on KCAL9.com and CBSN Los Angeles.
All right, talk about a wild ride from West Hollywood to downtown LA overnight in a carjacked Uber. Yeah, the LA County Sheriff's Department pursued this woman until the van crashed at Adams and Figueroa. Well, that's where the driver was taken into custody. Neither she nor the deputies were hurt.
It really was another scorching day out there as crowds packed into Huntington Beach for the U.S. Open of Surfing, which kicked off today. A little bit cooler at the coast, but Amber, for the inland areas, is it going to cool down anytime soon?
Okay, well, we have less than an hour before these heat advisories start to expire. So you can see all of these areas, including the San Fernando and the Santa Clarita Valley, the foothills, the mountains of LA and Ventura County, all under this heat advisory still. And that's because it is still warm, even at this hour, after a really hot afternoon here in Southern California. The only difference with our temperatures today was we didn't really have any of that monsoon moisture. But take a look. These are just some of the cities that climbed into the triple digits. 107 Lancaster tying an old record that it set last year. So we didn't break a record, but we actually tied a record. Palmdale 105, Lake Elsinore 105, 104 for San Bernardino and Woodland Hills, and 102 for Saugus. For downtown LA, we topped out 6 degrees above average, coming in at 90 degrees. So really didn't quite break a record. The record you could see a little too high. But we are slowly but surely starting to cool down as we head into the rest of the night. Here's what it feels like outside. We have temperatures in the upper 60s for the coast now with some lighter winds, 83 for the valleys, 88 for the Inland Empire, 82 for Orange County, 77 for downtown LA, and 70s for the mountains. But I'll tell you when the cooling trend will start to kick into high gear. Back to you.
All right, Amber, we'll see you in a bit. Well, it is that time of year again.
The LA Rams are ramping up their training.
I'm Jake Reiner out here at Rams training camp. Coming up, you'll see what we have in store for the upcoming season and for the fans as the excitement builds here in Irvine. Right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Oh, my God. Oh.
I wish I could get a good video of that.
Oh, and let's hope what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas this time for sure. What is being called grasshopper apocalypse on the Las Vegas Strip?
I can't.